Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to my second episode of Retro Views. On today's episode, we're going to be looking at my 2009 Axial Ax10 RTC, or Ready to Crawl. So stock, this truck would have come with the body you see here, would have come with silver and green beadlocks, Proline hammers, but it would have had all plastic linkages. So this truck's been modified in a bit of a OEM plus type of a manner. I was kind of aiming to make it like the ARTR version from 2008 that came in orange, but just trying to make like a green version of that. So with that being said, let's dig into it. On the outside, as you can see, it has the RTC green body. It's not original to the truck. I sourced this one online. It was a takeoff from the time period that someone never used. All I've done to it was to give it the comp cut, trim the front and rear fenders to give it that look. As I previously said too, the truck would have come on Proline hammers like you see here. These aren't original. I purchased this truck as a roller off eBay, but I didn't get the original tires with it. So I was able to source these used. They're in pretty decent shape. The only thing is they didn't come with their memory foams, so currently they are just sitting on some J Concepts 475 or 49, maybe rupture foams. I can't exactly recall. The wheels are just Amazon, AliExpress variety, deep dish 5-spoke, 2.2 aluminum beadlocks with the -10 offset. And these are just Amazon as well, just green aluminum M4 flange nuts. So let's tip the old girl on her side and have a look underneath. So immediately, the first thing that kind of should jump out to you is the skid. This is an original skid, but it's been given what I call the TIE Fighter mod to inboard the links. It just allows you to move the links from the outside of the chassis to the inside, gain some triangulation, gain some steering clearance, as many of these trucks had done in the past. I did this one because when I bought it, it was still fully stock with all plastic links and plastic upper 3-link. So to mimic the ARTR style, the truck has the 30-degree 101 mil links in the rear and the 98 mil straight links in the front. The truck has also been converted to 4-link front and rear. We'll see more on that later when I pull the body off. Okay, moving up to the front axle. Nothing too fancy going on here. The truck has some cheaper aluminum C's and just the regular Ackerman knuckles installed. And it does have Vanquish kingpin bushings because I got these used and I didn't have any bushings. One super common mod for these trucks for the time period was to replace this screw right here, countersink it in and put a flathead in, which you can see I've done there. Normally they would have a button head screw, as you can see here on the back, so it protrudes out. So when you countersink it and put a flathead in, you just gain that extra few mils of steering angle, which doesn't maybe seem like a lot, but on these old trucks with their dog bone steering, they had pretty pitiful steering angle, so anything you could do to try to get a little bit more would go a long ways. The front was also converted to the green steering links. It's a 33 mil here and I think 106 mil here. And that about rounds out the front. The truck is still running factory dog bones. Nothing out of the ordinary there. You can see above the axle here, you can see that's the SCX10 style 4-link mount. And it is sitting on a carbon fiber servo mount. Spin around to the rear here, have a look at our back axle. Basically stock back here, other than countersunk stainless screws, just for aesthetic purposes back here. And it also still has the SCX upgraded 4-link mount. When this truck was new, obviously in 09, the SCX10 didn't exist yet, so this is off of a later model truck. But it gives you better steering geometry, and it's an easy way to go 4-link. The only other thing you can't see back here is this truck does have an underdrive in the rear axle, but we'll talk about that later when we get to the gearing section. All right, let's take the body off and have a better look underneath. So what we're seeing here is just a stock chassis. Like I said, it's very OEM plus build, so there's nothing extravagant going on here. Basically, it's running the OEM shocks, but the RTC trucks, when they came out, they didn't have standoffs in here. Just one of the things they cheaped out on the ready to run version versus the kit. So it had actually from the factory Wraith style. Of course, the Wraith didn't exist yet, so the Wraith stole it from this, but it had Wraith style caps with the rubber isolator. So you can't just put the standoff in between because you'll make your shock cap not have any pivot. So these are the stock threaded shocks, 100 mils in length, but they've been reverted back to the original Scorpion caps so that you can put in the standoff and the regular hollow balls. Everything else chassis wise is pretty stock, other than obviously it's stainless hardware. We got some of the green anodized bits on it. Coming around to this side, we'll might as well talk about electronics. So this is a Fusion 1200. These trucks don't have a ton of gear reduction from the factory, so 1200 is a pretty good fit for them on 3S. The BEC is powered up to 7.4 volts on that guy, which is running the Spectrum S664 servo here in the front. That's actually a takeoff servo out of a Axial Coyote. I just debadged it because I didn't want the orange stickers clashing with the green. But at 7.4 volts, this little guy puts out 260 ounce-inches, which for a truck with dog bones and not a lot of steering angle, and to be honest, mostly a shelf queen anyways, it doesn't really need anything fancier than that. And it fit with our color theme, so that's why it got that. Receiver-wise, it's just running an RG4 radio link, and there's the receiver hiding up there above the transmission. Speaking of transmission, this is the original gearbox to the truck. It does have the green standoffs added. Those would be plastic, I'm pretty sure, from factory on this ready-to-crawl version. The ready-to-crawl version, compared to the original kit, also got the luxury of a slipper clutch. So it still has that. It's still running its 87-tooth original spur gear and 14-tooth pinion, which I believe puts it in the range of 33 or 35 to 1 final drive. One modification to the transmission, which you cannot see, is the main output gear with the outdrives on it has actually been completely replaced by an RRP hardened steel unit. And the reason for that is these trucks had the grub screw style outputs on the gearbox and on the axles, and I updated the truck to the newer facelift SCX10. These would have been kind of the inception of the Wildboard drive shafts, and they're a through pin style, so to run these drive shafts you have to have through pin output, so that's why it got the RRP unit there in the gearbox. And then in the axles, because like I mentioned earlier, this one has the Axial HD underdrive, which is the 4313 gears. They come factory, they're machined, and they have a through pin style on them. Up front, it's still the factory pot metal gears. I just replaced, you can buy just the pinion outputs. So it has an SCX10 style pinion output put onto the factory gear so that it can use the through pin. And the truck has the sintered steel HD lockers front and rear. So that's another slight upgrade that these trucks came with compared to the original B17 kit. But yeah, I think that's basically this guy in completion. Is pretty simple, pretty clean little unit. Like I said, built to be OEM plus, look nice and original, but have a few small upgrades to set them apart from the rest. So thank you for watching, and if you got any questions, hit me up in the comments below. Thanks.